Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, Scottie Pippen was the first guy I met in Charlotte, which is where we met.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that weekend.
yeah. No, the other NBA All Star game that we played in.
I'm just saying that.
Was that a big deal for you as it was for me?
It was cool. You know what's funny? It wasn't a big deal last year, but I want to play again. Like it'd
Dude.
be a bigger deal for me to do it in Chicago,
Oh,
especially being such a big Jordan fan. And
oh yeah, dude.
I want to do it one more time, and then I'll retire. Then
I don't know, dude. You had a lot of,
never wanna
from
do
what I
it.
can remember, you had a lot of second chance points.
Yes.
And I feel like, and I said this to you mid
I also
game.
had the worst missed layup in the history of the slap game. No, I wanted to dunk. You saw me in pregame.
Yes, dude.
I can fly. But
Didn't we talk about
I
trying to
just got in
put
my head.
Brad up on your shoulders or something? There was Ray Allen said something. He was like, I think we should get Brad up on Ronnie's shoulders and do some shit. And I was like,
I'm good with that. It
I
would have
mean,
been cool.
by the way, just a quick tangent. Like, if there is ever like, some dwarf 2K league, if you don't have Brad on the cover of that shit,
Have what?
a dwarf 2K,
Oh,
like, you unlock.
You know who hits me up all the time is Manny Love. But did you see his clip the other day on Instagram?
No,
He's like killing it in like New York leagues everywhere.
Jesus.
You know who that guy is? He's
Yes.
Like Harlem Globetrotters. He's really good. He's really dope.
Wait, so because that whole game was for any NBA fan, it's like just like the dream experience. Like I kept being like, I feel like I'm living out like Make a Wish kid shit, but for somebody that's been around the game and players so heavily in the
Yeah.
past, what do you say, like 10 years? You think where you've
Yep.
truly been in it, and where guys, I mean, I'm watching guys go up to you and be like, "What's up, Ryan?" Like D Wade and all these guys. I'm like, "What the fuck is happening, dude?" But then it's like, "Oh yeah, like the game is that popular. You've influenced it that much, and like, of course, being like a charismatic dude and like you're, at the forefront of all this stuff, and probably have gone to so many things with these guys. So I'm just like, there were points where I was just like, dude, Ronnie, like, he's like, you probably got the 4-1. Is like, is Larry Bird gonna show up and like do a fucking guest spot in this game or something? But like, was it as cool for you as it was for us? Or
It was very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, to play in front of that stage, I wanted to ask you like how you actually prepared for that thing, because like, I mean, you could play.
Yeah.
And so
We
like,
saw my spin move
how
on
did you
JB's
prepare?
move.
You just like.
well, dude, it's
You
a
played
lot
5-on-5
of
all the time. You know how many times I played 5-on-5 before that game in the past year?
how much?
Twice. I had zero preparation time. Like, I mean, just our world is
probably why you
so
missed that layup.
365. That's probably why I missed that layup. No, I missed that layup because I was like, you know what? I'm going to dunk in front of everyone. And then I was like, what if I miss this dunk? And then I just missed the layup.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then I got hacked so hard
Yeah.
on that layup. People
Yeah.
don't even see that.
Was that Steve Smith or Dr. Oz? Who
No,
fouled
it
you?
was who was that guy?
Not Famous Los.
He was the red-haired dude on the other team. He was kind of bulky. Like he hit
Oh,
me pretty good.
fucking not AJ. He was on our squad. I know who you're talking
He
about.
got me good.
The country singer.
No, it
No.
wasn't Daughtry.
Red-
Daughtry's not gonna hurt me.
By the way, please get that tattooed on your lower back.
Daughtry's not gonna hurt me. No,
Yeah.
Daughtry's like 5'2".
He also
100
bounced like a quarter in to go do a show,
Yeah.
and then came
Yeah,
back
but-
and was like, "What happened?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Oh yeah, you weren't in the game at all."
You left. That's
Yeah,
cool.
he left to go make money. But yeah, I did. The prep consisted of a dance cardio class, a Body by Simone class that my friend at Netflix convinced me to
Nice.
do. And I was trying to talk to her about some projects. So I was like, hey, I'll kill two birds with one stone. And
Playing
she also
the
made a
celebrity
nice
game.
push as far as being like, it'll be a great way to get in shape for the game. And I was just like, yeah, it will. And also maybe there'll be some material there. I'm always thinking that way, comedy-wise. And, dude, it was literally for an hour and change just bouncing to aggressive, like, female angsty music where they're all like, like, fucking, like Taylor Swift songs where there's like, fucking kill him in his sleep and chop off his dick. And I'm just dancing, be like, all right, trying to keep up. But I was bouncing so much, I didn't stretch, And so about 40 minutes in, my calf just tightens up. And I didn't want to sit out because I was repping for the fellas. And it was just me and one other guy there. And I get out and I'm kind of sore. Everything mellows out, and then we get to.
When was this?
This was a week before the game.
Oh, dude,
So
I
then
have a similar story. So
oh, dude,
go
yeah.
ahead.
So then we get to, and again, like I'm 37. You're probably in the same boat. Yeah,
I'm 36.
It's like, you feel still fine, but there's certain body things where you're like, no, I probably should have stretched for an hour before
Yep.
that, probably before the game. But you just adrenaline,
But you
especially.
also don't think about it because you never had to.
Yeah. Also, like adrenaline gets you so much going that it's
Leeway.
almost like, oh, the muscles are like they're fired up
they're
to be
fine.
in the stadium. They saw Sue Bird, they're fired up,
Yeah.
And so I didn't stretch, and at the practice, like 3 drills in, all of a sudden I just feel it tighten up really hard and then just go, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Man.
And then, dude, I could not. I was barely walking. I was like limping through practice. Steve Smith was yelling at me, and I didn't want to be like, I just fucking blew out my calf, man. Cut me some slack, dude. And I walk out, and one of the guys who worked on the whole event was like, "Are you good, man?" And I was like, clearly limping. I was like, "Yeah, I just like got Charlie horse from a knee bump." And then I went and got like these braces. I went and got a steroid shot the next day.
This is the next day?
Yeah, dude. The game was that next day.
No, I know.
Yeah, so
I missed the tryouts. Why did I? Well, we had a esports tournament.
Oh yeah.
And also, to be honest, I was having a similar issue to you, so I skipped.
Dude, I wish I would have skipped.
No, but it would have been nice to like get some camaraderie with the guys. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody knew how good anybody was. I was walking in there. Obviously, I knew Ray Allen could hit from anywhere, but and I'd played with Quavo plenty of times. But
okay, so you weren't surprised at how much he shot.
no, I knew he was a ball hog.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about that last possession.
Yeah.
I'm still salty about that.
Oh.
But
Wait, are you talking about Hassan?
no, I'm talking about Quavo. So I don't know if you remember this, but we were down 1.
Yes.
And Sue puts me in because I was the putback king of the game, right?
Yes.
And so smartly, they put me back in, and they were going to put me in the post, and I was going to see, like, he'll miss the layup, and I'll get the 2. And
Yeah,
we'll win the
dude.
game. Quavo didn't let me. Like, he was just, he put his hand up, and he's like, no, I got the 3, but I'm like, Quavo, you're 5'7". Like, get out of my spot. But I didn't want to have a national incident on TV with Quavo, so I just let him do it, and we lost the game. I actually almost got there anyway. Like, I went from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
I was right there, but
Wait, was this on Ray's missed free throw or no? This is the shot.
this is the final free throw miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And, well, but were we down?
We were down by 1,
So
so
if he had made that, we would have got overtime.
yeah.
Oh, man, that sucks. I thought like...
No, he made that, and I think we were still. He needed to miss it, and that's what he did. And then we were down by 1. So
No, the last one was missed.
Yeah,
Because they put me in between the 2 free throws.
that's right.
And I got there.
Yeah.
But
Fuck,
I mean,
dude.
it was a little.
There was a point
but
when
Quavo would not let me just. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I mean-
But, the funny thing is, so similar story. That past Saturday or Sunday, I played with Quavo. This is the second time I played in this whole time, and I just started dunking maybe a few days before that, like because I was out of practice. So we played for a good hour. I played in those shoes, those Nike shoes, which were cool, awesome, but not like comfortable.
Not conducive for hoops,
Not
man.
conducive for hoops. And they were also like changing sizes in the middle, like it was compressing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But I mean, such a cool project that they customized them to.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, Nike is the king, but yeah, I was having issues with those. But I was playing with them, so my feet were getting all messed up. But the bigger thing was the next day I woke up, because we played for like 2.5 hours, and I had them from 0 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Next day, my calves shot.
Burning.
And my left calf did not get better until literally the night before the game.
No way.
And so I was like, thank God I didn't practice, because I don't think I would have been able to. Then I felt pretty good before the game, but I don't know how you mentally prepare for that. Like,
No, dude. I mean,
I've spoken in front of thousands of
Yeah.
people, but I've never played basketball. In front
Had some
of,
nerves,
no,
right?
No, not never. I haven't played since college. So, and then this is like
on a televised
whole
ESPN
other-
game, though,
exactly.
where you know, like
That I
old
haven't done.
coaches are watching and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
being like, "Oh, fucking Ray still can't go to his left." Did you plan out your what did you do for your entrance when they called your name for the lineups?
Well, I just went through the tunnel, and then I think I did some letter things.
You have some
I was
gang
like-
signs.
No, it was funny. My managers were like, "Dude, you gotta like do really something crazy." I'm like, "That's not really my style."
Yeah, dude, you got to
Yeah.
keep consistent.
I'm much more like low key.
Yeah, like Amanda
I'm
Seals
not
did the
gonna go out
backflip,
there and throw. Yeah.
and then Brad did the
How do you
worm.
follow that?
You know, so you got Amanda Seals doing a legit backflip,
Yeah.
and then you get a midget doing the worm,
Yeah.
like, and then it was
How
like.
do you, how do you follow that?
It's you don't. I remember Ray Allen was sitting there, right? I think I went, and then he got called right after that. And so Brad, after Amanda does the backflip, Brad looks at me, and goes worm, and then Ray Allen goes, "Is he about to fucking do the worm?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "You better have something cool planned, because you're not gonna be able to
You're like,
follow
I'm just
this."
gonna go out there. So what did you do?
And then I just did some weird, like, I've got like 4 dance moves, so I did some weird like robot puppet thing where I hit myself and pull my head up, and
That's smooth.
Somebody posted too on it because I posted the clip there, like nice suicide thing. I was like, Jesus Christ, like what are you hanging yourself on TV? I was like, no, it was the robot puppet move. It's from the 8th grade in Kellogg Middle School. Yeah, that game, Quavo, I knew when I was looking up highlights of other games, like, oh, this guy's gonna try to win MVP.
For sure.
I thought Los was gonna try to. I've seen highlights
he
of
shot
him.
35 times.
Did he really?
Something like that.
What would be his 2K player
Dude,
rating?
I mean, look. Sue was actually getting upset at Quavo and the team. If you remember, they were like,
Yes.
Ronnie, you don't actually go in there and try to shoot. I'm like, I'm trying to get assists. Okay, so
Did you have a game plan?
funniest story.
Yeah.
So we obviously work with a lot of partners.
Yeah.
One of our partners is State Farm. And so we had prearranged that I was going to, not prearranged, but we had promised them that I would, like.
That you're going to win MVP?
Media, for social media, I was going to get an assist. Like, and it was going to be the State Farm assist of the game from my social media account.
Awesome.
Dude, I had 5 no doubt assists and just blew the. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember my behind the back?
Yes.
Pass right to Quavo.
Yes.
Puts up the layup.
Yeah.
And bricks it right in front. I'm like, oh, that was a bunny that I just gave to you. So, if I ever get to do it again, dude, I'm shooting 30 times.
Well,
I'm shooting from. I can shoot. From
you're going to
3.
take the Hassan Minaj route, which is what he told me, because I remember towards the end of the game, Ray Allen was wide open, and we were screaming on the bench. We were like, give it to Ray, and Hassan like kind of looked off Ray and shot the 3, and we were like, Hassan, dude, your show's great, but you know what's also great? The all-time leader in 3-pointers right next to you
would shoot the 3.
But Hassan told me after, he was like, dude, I played in that first game. I tried to just like fit in, get a couple dishes. He's like, this time I was like, fuck it, dude. He goes, I recognize that's not how people play. It's like everyone's out for themselves. There was a point where Sue was like, she just leans over to me and she goes, Quavo just checked himself in. I go, what? She goes, you saw him just walk by? I go, yeah. I thought he was just going to chill at the score table and talk to D-Wade. She's like, no, he just checked himself in. I go, what do you do? She goes, what can I do? And then literally when there was that minute left in the game, I leaned over to her and I go, how much would you give me to go in and try to check in and take out Quavo right now? She goes, look, I'm not going to give you anything, but I really want to see that. She goes, if you have the balls to do that, she goes, I definitely don't think he's going to come out.
Yeah.
Also, like, who am I? Like, everyone's going to be like, who the fuck is this guy trying to take...
Yeah.
I
was trying to take Quavo's spot of the post, and he didn't let me have it.
Dude, all right. Well, next year,
me and him are good buddies too, and yeah.
Yeah, you guys did a couple.
I give him a lot of crap every time. They just did a celebrity game last time I was here in LA. What, 2-3 weeks ago? He had that thing at Woodland Hills. And they had really amazing and influencers / celebrities playing in this game.
Wow.
I'm like, this is talent wise. I mean.
Yes.
Present company excluded. This is a better game than the NBA. I mean, he had everybody playing that thing, and he's trying to make that an annual thing. Like, Quavo loves basketball.
He does.
And
would you ever listen to somebody like that? Like, I'm always curious too. When we were just talking before we started about the amount of critique you get from fans, and I'm sure like guys like KD, whoever players that are big that love the game. I'm sure you do want to factor that stuff 100%. In because these are the gamers, and also especially the guys who truly play. But a guy like Quavo, does he, when a game comes out, does he send you like, here's my list of notes, or does
they all have their feedback? Look, I mean, all of our entire community, our entire fan base has a ton of good ideas, and we take all of that really, really seriously. And I think that's what's allowed us to kind of innovate this game in a way that just other annualized titles don't. But yeah, Quavo, NBA players, everybody has a point of view on the game, and I think we really appreciate that. So like we take a lot of feedback. You know what's crazy is I say this all the time, but our game, like every year, I'm like, man, how are we going to do better than this? I've said it since 2K11 when we put Jordan on the cover and we had those Jordan challenges. And
dude.
We
how do you top
went back
that?
into the past. I'm like, how are we going to top this? And every single year we've figured out a massive way to do it every single year. And we have obviously big plans for 2K20, which comes out September 6th. But, this innovation, I think we're still kind of, in a way, we're still in the infancy of this game because there's the league is kind of in its infancy. They're still trying to figure out like how to be more marketable and viral and all of that. Like, I mean, there's been conversations about playoff in season tournaments and all that stuff.
Wow.
And so I think that everybody's trying to figure out how to make the regular season more entertaining. And
I mean, you truly probably can't compare this offseason to any other. I mean,
Yeah.
the NBA was so fired up. Thank God social media existed in this time because
No, the NBA and the social media live together. I think that's sort of why NBA 2K has had this huge rise, and then myself, like how I become this identity. It was just that if there wasn't social media, none of this would exist.
Take us through that journey, because I know your story. It's fucking fascinating. But you told me briefly at the game in the locker room while Dr. Oz was using a Theragun on me. It was a very surreal experience. I was like, am I having a NyQuil dream, or did I truly die? Talking to
watching Dr. Oz play basketball was brilliant.
yeah, dude.
He was serious, man.
He had old man
he had,
game.
Like, the eyes where I was like, oh my god, I'm not sure if he wants to drive to the hoop or kill me.
Yeah, dude. Maybe a little both.
Psychologically break me down.
Oh yeah, dude.
One of those three, probably all three.
He definitely hit the ground at one point and popped right back up. I don't know if you remember that, but I was just like, oh, here I was laughing about his agility. I hope I have a tenth of the physical prowess that Dr. Oz is repping at fucking. I'm gonna say 56.
Who scared me in the game most was Asia Wilson, because I mean, she was just like, I've covered that guy. I've covered Ronnie. I was like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Why do I have to get covered by one of the best players in the
NBA? I took a charge on her.
Dude, I fouled her. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
I fouled her really hard.
I remember her screaming.
Oh my god, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Because
you're like, I don't want to injure her. Their season was about to start.
What's funny is I could have got a chase down block on her. I got like 4 blocks in the game, but there was this one where she had a fast break. I'm like, it's a celebrity game. I'll lay out. And then she talks some junk after it, and I'm like, all right, next time.
What did she say? You remember?
I don't remember exactly, but she let me have it after I gave her this layup. I'm like, all right, well, next time. And then I just hacked the heck out of her
yeah.
later in the game. I think by that time I had a concussion because, I'd gotten hit so hard on that missed layup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my head was throbbing.
Yeah, I took a charge on her, and she was like, did you really just take a charge in a celebrity game? And I was like, hey, you're already in the league. I'm trying to get in, so.
Yeah, she's awesome. We've obviously with this whole Wnba integration, and she's one of the pioneers in the league, and she's a huge fan of the game. One of the first people we scanned, one of the first people we motion captured. We've gotten to know her really well, and I mean, just the impact on the game that she's having and her thoughts on our game were extremely helpful. And I mean, here's the thing, with the WNBA integration, like,
turn this a little bit more towards you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go, yeah.
With the WNBA integration, like, we're really trying to understand the difference between the two games and simulating both of those experiences.
Yeah.
Because we try to do everything right. We're not just going to throw women's heads on the men bodies and make that a game. We've done significant motion capture, lots of gameplay that are it is two kind of different experiences.
So what is that like for the motion capturing? Are you capturing every single player that's in the game down to like from, Anthony Davis to Sasha Vujacic? Like, are you getting everybody in the suits to get their game
We
right?
don't get every player in the suits. There's a lot of actors that can act out the ones that we are missing. It's significant, though. We do get a ton of them.
If you need a Ronnie Turioff, I do a really good Ronnie Turioff.
Gotcha.
Or a Ronnie Cycli.
I'll keep that in mind.
Or a Ron Harper. I do all the Rons.
Well, you watch me play, so you could do, Ronnie's thing as well.
Yeah.
Like it's we have to use actors in some places because not everybody's available. But and it is kind of a long process, like getting the shots recorded. It's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
You just have them go through kind of all their moves.
Go through dribble sets, triple threats, like everything.
Wait, so did you have Jordan do it?
Michael?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, well, that fucking looks incredible.
Cool. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of people that want to simulate his game, so finding an actor for Michael Jordan is not that hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing: some of the older guys have in the past few years, and I lump Michael in there too, really understood the value of our brand on the greater basketball experience, especially to kids, right? I mean, I think that, you're wearing Jordans. I think that our game keeps him, in a way, obviously he's relevant. He's Michael Jordan. But I think it's a nice little kind of nudge and reminder. And, Mark Cuban said it, actually. Like, he was like, we're the greatest lesson for history lesson on basketball, because we have the Bill Russell Celtics, we have the Wilt Chamberlain Lakers, Warriors. We have all of these old teams from the past, and we're really the only measuring stick of how these teams kind of compare to each other. But we're going to remind you about Bill Russell for those who didn't watch him play.
Isn't that crazy?
Don't remember
that some of the kids that watch today's game, they're literally, I mean, you can mention some. There are true kids that are like basketball aficionados that'll go back and do their research. But, dude, I remember talking.
I mean, people are like a lot of these young kids, right? Their hero is LeBron James.
Yeah.
Because that's when they grew up. That was the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. I mean, you and I are in the Jordan generation for sure.
I was telling my nephew's 15
Kobe,
about, I was telling him we're going to interview Gary Payton this week, and he was like, who? And I go,
isn't that wild?
What? I go, dude, what?
Yeah.
And he was like, I go, the glove? And he's like, and then I pulled a picture, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's Gary Payton? I go, what, dude, you are, this is why you're not full-blood relative, you know? But the game, I think, too, the motion capture part happens first, right? And then, like, when you talk about trying to top the game each year, is it a group of guys and gals in one room?
Let's talk about the WNBA experience, right?
Please, yeah.
We had to do likeness, so that's where you've seen the rig, the RV with, like, 150 DSLR cameras that like, hit every point of their reference. That's the likeness. That goes to art, and, you know, textures get added, skin, all that stuff gets added. It's really just an animation. There's motion capture, and there's two really big ways of motion capture. One is recording shots and recording basketball animations, and then there's the whole like acting, which you see in my career, creating digital experiences. Michael B, I don't know if you've had him on the show, but he was in our career mode a couple years ago, and he talked about how like it was totally a different acting experience. You know, when he's shooting Creed, he's in a ring. There's all these cameras all around, and there's all these angles, and you shoot them over and over again. In our world, we're creating what would be a virtual like table you sit at out of like a few planks of wood. It looks really ghetto in the real world, but in the animations, like it just comes together. But they have to mentally kind of bridge that divide,
right?
So it's kind of an amazing experience to put together.
Whose idea was it to finally get the WNBA in the 2K?
Well,
family?
I think we've all been talking about it for a while. The NBA obviously is pushing a lot of marketing behind it. We have wanted that experience. We also want to grow basketball and kind of role models for women.
Yeah.
And I think that the WNBA has done a great job of that. You see NBA players sidelines for all these WNBA games now as well.
That's big time, right? When they show that support.
Yeah, and
then when
there's a lot more talent as well than there were probably a few years ago, they've kind of vetted into building it at a youth level.
Yeah,
basketball with women. So now there's a lot more talent than there used to be as well.
Yeah, I feel like when
there's
it first
a lot
started,
of stars in the WNBA now.
There are, which in any great sport, right? You need stars. You need people.
You need storytelling. You need storytelling.
I feel like it was like Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, and I mean Swoops, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but now I feel like every team's got a couple. Even like my Seattle Storm, like Sue Bird and Breanna Stewart being out, like they got all these gals stepping up, and it's like it's fucking dope, man.
Yeah.
Was Breanna Stewart an easy choice for the?
Breanna Stewart. It's funny. I've worked with her a lot. We did the boardroom episode right after she won the WNBA MVP last year. Got to know her a little bit. She's great. She's got such a good personality. So
she's really good at responding to DMs from people she doesn't know. That's a call out, Breanna Stewart. Yeah, yeah. I saw her at some thing in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I think she was doing something for some kid, or she got some award too. And I just look. Sometimes when I've had a couple of drinks, I throw these Hail Mary DMs. Right. I did one to Katy Perry once, inviting her to a show in New York.
How'd that go?
Not good. And so I did the same with Breanna Stewart. But I was like, and I attached a pic of me and Sue from the game just to be like, hey, I'm friends with your friend, and just nothing. So, but I wouldn't respond to me either. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I saw both of them. They were hanging out at the Players Tribune thing.
Oh, dope!
A couple weeks ago.
Dope.
In LA, yeah.
Wait, so now that game and that one comes out when?
September 6th.
The women's too?
Yeah. No, it's integrated in the game.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So 12 WNBA teams. I think it's 140 players, most of which have been scanned.
Can you do like Seattle Storm versus Seattle Supersonics?
No.
Or is it no? Yeah, that's
Well,
That's too crazy.
I mean, it's two different game styles, so and two different ratings, all
Yep,
of that stuff.
yep.
So we want to keep those separate.
All right, so you grew up in the Bay,
Mm-hmm.
diehard Warriors fan.
Yep. Well, ish.
Ish during that time.
Yeah, they were tough to root for.
Were you a fan of Sean Kemp's dunk on Alton Lister?
Yeah, Sean Kemp. I mean, probably one of the most athletically gifted specimen that has ever hit the NBA.
Thank you.
And it's sad. I mean, like
it's so sad, dude. He had a 10-year run.
He could have been he was good. He could have been a phenom
if he stayed in Seattle.
Yeah.
And that team stayed. Him and
he kept it together. I mean, it was a little bit self-destructive on his part.
It for sure was, dude. Once he went to because he had a good year in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then it was like
it went south quick.
Yeah, it went south quick. I mean, I saw him the last year in Seattle. My buddy and I were at a movie. I want to say it was Angels in the Outfield, but I don't think the Rain Man was going to see that. But he was with some chick, and we kept turning around in the theater to be like, what does Sean Kemp think of that moment? You know? I wonder if we have similar sensibilities. Like 10 minutes in, we turned around, and he was gone, and we were like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
But I met him. I did a show with him with Michael Rappaport in Seattle, and he was so fucking cool, and he talked hoops and had so many opinions, and he was like mentoring some young kids on just like the business aspect of it. But just looking at him, even still being just so big, you're like, and he's slimmed down some, but I mean, you look at those highlights, and people want to say like Blake Griffin, who is the shit, and an amazing dunker.
Why Zion's not compared to him a little bit more?
Oh no, for sure, he's gonna get that.
But
once he gets going.
Hasn't yet. Like Zion's compared to
just as quick.
A lot of other people.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I think he's Sean Kemp.
Wow.
I think that's who he is.
Wow. Rain Man 2? You think we can put that nickname on him?
Probably. It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see. We just signed Zion to a multi-year deal with 2K.
Whoa. So what does that mean?
So we have highlight endorsers, guys we know that play 2K that are really excited about the brand, and we just have marketing partnerships with them.
For them to
honestly, we have the cream of the crop in the NBA.
Yeah.
And it's become kind of a crowning moment for these guys. Obviously, the cover is a huge deal, but even being part of our roster is
dude.
Very, very big deal.
I saw videos of you telling guys their ratings, like Giannis, and you, I think, no, it was Embiid, and I think you told me he was an 86, and he was like, for real? And he was like genuinely pissed, and I was like,
no, they're genuinely pissed.
Yeah, dude. It's almost like the Rotten Tomatoes for movies. Like your rating has a, I don't want to say it's going to make or break a guy's confidence, but it's definitely going to make him work harder.
In a weird way, like. Well, so let's start with the young guys, right?
Yeah.
Like the young guys, this is our 21st game. We've been in the business for almost 21 years now.
Wow.
And a lot of these kids coming up, 17, 18, so they don't know any better. Like, meaning this has been their franchise their entire life. And so
Zion's been playing since he was 6, I think.
Zion told me, the first time I met him, he was like, making the league was a dream of mine, but being in this video game it's like 1A, 1B.
Whoa, dude.
For a lot of these guys, that's what it is. And then, for the older guys with the ratings, like, it's all kind of a badge of honor. In the locker rooms, that's what they talk about. All these guys admit that they talk about it in the locker rooms. And it's a badge of honor, but it's also kind of another comparison thing. You want to be all NBA team, first team or second team. You want to be a 90, not an 80.
Yeah.
It's a very similar kind of battle for these guys. So, I mean, you don't make any extra money for being a 90 in NBA 2K.
No.
So you should probably focus on the all NBA stuff, but they don't. They're just as wrapped up in their NBA 2K rating as anything else.
Get to a point where there are like salary incentives that owners are like, dude, fucking Tatum's slacking off this year, man. Let's like tell him maybe if like he gets his rating in 2K up that he'll get a little bonus.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they would be thrilled enough to do that.
Yeah.
As if they weren't motivated enough.
I know. Wait, so Bay Area hoops fan, and then you start. What job are you working at while you're in the Bay Area?
My trip was a little bit different. I played high school, college basketball. I was really short actually at the beginning of pretty much all through high school. So I was a guard. Me and Anthony Davis has the same game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same story too.
Same story.
Yeah.
No, in college I changed my major probably 735 times.
Dang.
And I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, and now if you think about it, my career just didn't exist, right? Like the social media, I really enjoyed grassroots marketing, and I loved sports, not just basketball, football, baseball. I was a huge Giants and 49ers fan.
So everything you were
went to
studying
games
was
all the time.
something like going to be in sports.
So where I ended up at the end of college was I want to be a sports agent. I want to
Gotcha.
be Jerry Maguire.
Whoa.
I wanted to yell, "Show me the money," to people. So I actually went to law school for 9 weeks in New York. Dropped out. Hated it. Well, I didn't drop out right away. I went to work for a law firm for a little bit. Same time I was working for a women's basketball team, which is kind of funny. We've come full circle now.
Yeah, man.
In the minor leagues and the minor leagues, and I was making a lot of money being a lawyer and making no money in sports. So I really had this itch for this thing. So I went to work for this women's basketball team. Then I worked for a baseball team, minor league baseball team, and there was this huge stunty thing that happened with Jose Canseco, who was like a childhood idol / friend of mine.
Wait, friend now?
We were friends back then. This
Jesus.
stunty thing probably ruined that, but
Oh.
it's fine.
Hey, even have a friendship with Jose at any duration of life.
When we did the stunty thing, it was right in the middle of the whole steroids thing.
Yikes, dude.
He had just written the book a couple months before. It's pretty wild. So anyway, and then I was like any other early 20s kid. I'd go home, play 2K at midnight till 5 in the morning. I was
dude.
top 10 on the leaderboards. I played a lot, and so it's cool. Again, coming full circle, getting to represent this company that I was such a big fan of as a kid, and continue to be a big fan of.
Would you play?
I just wish I had as much time to play as I used to.
Oh yeah, but that's a good problem.
Now I used to be really good. I'm still fine. I'm not going to get beat very often at 2K, but I just.
So would you play
there's guys
seasons?
that
Would
are
you
really,
play
really good.
just exhibitions? Would you play the
Well,
same
back in
squad?
the day, 2005, I was playing to 2000. I was on the top 10 on the leaderboard, so I was playing quick game. I was playing 5-on-5. Me being, I think back then I was the Miami Heat or whatever team Shaq was on.
Yeah.
And then I was on the Rockets for a while. But Yao Ming was amazing, and Tracy McGrady.
Dude.
That 2007,
Yeah.
2008 Rockets team is
Stevie Francis on there too?
that's the biggest cheat 2K team of all time.
Dude, Yao in
Stephen
2K
That
is still one of my
they
favorite.
Had Bobby Jackson too. They had all of these guys. They had
Wow.
Shane Battier, 2K.
Shane Battier.
2K11. Yeah, that team was disgusting. I can't believe they never won a championship.
I know, dude.
But yeah, Yao should have won a championship. So anyway, I would play quick game all the time. Now, our game has GM, it has career, it has my team, it has all these modes. There's so much to do. It's almost hard to be an expert at all of them. It's even hard to be an expert at one just because we have so many people playing all of them. And now it's career mode's everything. Like everybody likes to play as themselves.
Creating their own player.
Creating their own guy.
Yeah.
Now we even let you, for the last few years, we've allowed you to scan your face into the game, and so you look like yourself too.
Dude.
And then now we have an open world, this neighborhood thing, where you walk around meeting other people from the world that look like themselves.
Yeah.
And you're playing basketball, but you're also doing other stuff as well, like training and whatever, doing funny stuff. We have trampoline basketball. We have, in last year's game, obviously it's a little early to talk about next year's, but now it's this whole world that's not just about basketball. It's about the culture and the lifestyle and all of that stuff.
Which is kind of
which is timed really well with the with the NBA.
Also, the NBA and sports in general, but I truly feel like the NBA is kind of has their finger on the pulse of this. Like really, connecting people from all walks of life, and it really just brings like in any pickup game. Like you think of any pickup game, any 24-hour fitness, like dude, you got every type of person in this game, and it's like. And you become you might find a new friend from that, or have an old friend that's now a new enemy. It's just like
there's facets even within the game. It's about the shoe culture. It's about what outfit you're wearing. It's like there's so many meta things within that pickup game that really like we've kind of taken advantage of within our game.
Do kids still play online with headsets and talk? You have that option, 100%. Right? Because when I first came out, dude, I would talk so much shit and got the F-bomb, and I'm not talking fuck.
You still get it. You'll hear a 14-year-old on the other end with some high-pitched voice with his mom screaming in the background, but he's cussing you out.
Yeah.
You're kind of young for this.
Yeah. Okay, so then you know that sports is going to be something that you're living in and that you're trying to...
it was a passion of mine. I just knew that was something I had to do. I'm Indian, so that was a tough conversation with my parents who didn't understand
No way,
what the
dude.
hell I was doing.
Video games, right?
Giving up, grad school, first kid in his family to go to college, let alone grad school, right?
Oof.
It was a tough conversation, but now my mom probably stalks me on social media more than anyone.
Well, that's how she gets a hold of you, probably.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing ride. Even the role within 2K, like the
Yeah,
opportunity.
where did you get that? So you came to the West
so
Coast.
I lived in the Bay when I was a kid.
Okay.
Obviously.
Right, but I mean, in New York
I went to New York for 9 weeks.
Right.
Moved back to San Diego because that's where I went to school and had a girlfriend at the time. And then decided to move back to San Francisco for this job. And the job originally was to run their message boards, which, wow, like it's
Was
a
that
lot
like
different
chat
than
rooms?
what it was. Yeah, well, I mean, back then that was what social media was. We were a year away. Twitter was a year old. Facebook, you probably remember this. You needed a college ID to sign
Yes,
in to Facebook.
I was at USC, so I had to sign in with
You
my
had
USC shit.
one of them. I had a college ID as my first Facebook account. No Instagram, no Snapchat,
No, dude.
none of these other things.
Kind of a better time. It's just so simple.
But I mean, the growth of the NBA, the growth of our game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same without social media.
It's not.
So, that became a niche. That became an opportunity for me and for our amazing marketing team to just kind of go after. And so,
What would you do in these message boards?
on the message boards, I would chat with fans. I was the community. I had Ronnie James Dio as my avatar.
Yes.
Like I was 2K Ron at the time. Now it's Ronnie 2K. And
It's got a better flow.
it does. It sounds better. But
It's better on a license
I
plate.
created a Twitter account, and then I'd started doing content, and now content's everything. And
What type of content?
just video stuff. So I'll never forget 2K11. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan on our cover. We threw a party in New York. I think it was Greenpoint or Hudson Terrace. It was somewhere around there. And for the first time, we had massive NBA players and celebrities showing up to our party, and everybody's like, "Oh, we got to take advantage. We got to get some content."
Yeah.
So they're like, "Here, Ronnie, take this microphone and go interview some people." I don't know why I was the conventional choice. Maybe because I looked like them the most. Maybe I lived that life. Maybe
You're good on the message boards, maybe? They thought you can.
Maybe I knew how to communicate, but did it, and have done that ever since. Really,
Fuck, dude.
and
So-
it's grown tremendously. I mean, our game went from 1 million units sold my first year. Now we're selling well over 10 million.
No way.
Social media following is enormous. I can't believe between Instagram and Twitter, I'm close to 2 million followers myself. It's insane.
And what types
But
of...
I mean, it all starts with the brilliance that is our game and the brilliance of the development of the NBA. It starts with those two things. Our game has innovated. We have 400 people that work in our office to develop this amazing masterpiece of a game, and they work really tirelessly. Like in the summer, especially, we're right in crunch. We're near the end of the crunch, but I mean, they're working hours on end, 7 days a week.
Still up until the game comes out?
For sure. I mean, now there's updates. Now
Yeah.
the last few years, there's been in-game content like the clothing and the my team card. That's the big one. Like now, if somebody has an amazing game in the NBA, we do a dynamic moments card to celebrate that moment. So we put new content out in our game. Dynamic ratings means over the ratings are constantly changing. Our game is more evolving and dynamic than ever before, which means everybody's working 365, but so is the NBA.
Yeah.
And
Keeping it fresh.
So is that audience, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And people want that. People want when someone's getting traded mid-season or an injury goes down.
Yeah.
Like, you want to feel like you're playing like what's happening,
Yeah.
right?
And what's crazy about this year's game is how many people changed teams? 180 or something like that?
Man.
This
That's
year's
good for the game, yeah?
Just game, there's probably two industries that really prosper from the rosters changing that much. The jersey industry.
Porn? Yeah.
Exactly. And our game.
Wow,
because no matter what, if we didn't touch a feature, which we have aggressively advanced the game a lot this year, which I'm excited about. We're going to get into that next couple of weeks. But the roster, it's a completely different game because everybody's moved.
And that gets
And
people.
there's no cheesy Warriors team
No.
anymore. There's 10 teams that are really have 2 great players.
That's great for the game, right?
It's great. It's great for the game. It's great for the NBA. It's great for everything.
My buddy and I, my opener Sandy Danto, he brings his Xbox to every city, and we play after shows, right? And I mean, we just as this off season started, we were just like, oh, this next 2K is gonna be unreal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody was connecting that whole free agency mayhem to our game.
That's crazy.
Like that's the first thing you think of, and that's great for us.
Does how detailed do you guys get with like the I mean the commentators that shit is on lockdown? Do they come in and do just
they
hours
have to update
of
it every single year because there's all these new rookies, there's all these new players on new teams. Like we take it very seriously.
What about if they get a new catchphrase? What if Kevin Harlan gets a new like
Gotta
sweet
be-
mama, look at those
there.
big old balls jiggling. Oh, he's a like if he says
have-
something that
we have those guys in multiple days every single year.
yeah,
We have to.
it's big time.
It's also part of their annual schedule now.
And they're popular from that. You know what I'm saying? It's
it lifts their relevancy. Like that's a big thing for. I mean, as amazing as Kenny, Chuck,
yeah,
Shaq,
Ernie.
Ernie, thank you, are. I mean, they've built a brand with
Yep.
that thing. We also lift that
Fuck
brand.
yeah, you did.
Because of the halftime thing.
Dude, I remember that was I think NBA Live for Super Nintendo was the first basketball game that I remember took things up a notch.
Yep.
You know, I think Arch Rivals and some other basketball game for Nintendo that they had, and then NBA Live was like
I don't remember the six. Are you talking about 64? Or are you talking
this
about
was Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo?
The
I
gameplay
remember
was just
Magic
faster.
versus Larry and NES.
Yep, that was pretty good.
That game was 2 dots passing another dot. But it was dope.
But no,
I
NBA Live,
remember the SNES game.
the gameplay was just a little faster.
Yeah.
And they had the teams,
Yeah.
and they had numbers. Still no names on the back, but you knew who was who.
Yeah.
And but the game was just too fast. But the players literally, I mean, you would turn out of bounds off because the players were so fucking all over the place that you needed to be able to go everywhere.
The only SNES basketball game I played was Jam, and I played the heck out of that thing.
You still play that?
The SNES version I play once in a while. Me and my best friend, we used to play that like into the wee hours of the morning.
Oh yeah.
We once beat a team 240-2. Like that was our thing. We were the Magic. It was Scott Skiles and Nick Anderson.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
Shaq was on that.
No,
squad.
not on the.
Oh, it
SNES,
wasn't. It was
not
pre-
on the original one.
Skiles
He
and
came on the next version of it.
Cycly?
It
No.
was Penny and Shaq
Yeah,
later
on the next one.
But we had Skiles and Anderson.
Good
on
for
the
you,
first one.
dude.
Yeah,
Scott
that was
Skiles.
a tough team, but that entire roster was like, there's barely any stars on this. But I mean, the Bulls had Jordan and Pippen, but
Yeah. But no, the Sonics had Benoit Benjamin.
no,
and
they had
like,
Sean Kemp.
Right, but
They had Detlef Schrempf and how about that? Detlef and
I know,
Sean
dude.
Kemp.
Deadlift, come on.
Yeah, that's
He's
fucking-
I will say when I play with my Sonics a lot, it's usually a Kemp and Det type of night.
What was the other team I played a lot? It was the Suns. I had Marley and
Wow. KJ.
yeah, that's right, Kevin Johnson.
Do refs reach out and be like, "Hey, could you make my arms a little bigger?" Or like the way I blow the whistle, you not really.
We actually don't use ref likenesses just
Right.
because.
But I mean, is that because of that? Do they reach out and like, "Hey, man, I want to be fucking"?
Probably. Yeah, I mean the authenticity just across the board. Like we really take all those animations super seriously.
Yeah.
We just want it to be as close to the real thing as possible.
You mentioned having to top it each year, and it's like that is kind of crazy to think about how much you guys do that. But I mean, can you? It's almost like I feel like you can attribute it or compare it
I
to
mean,
like
if you look back through the years, like you're like, holy cow! Like just look at it, graphically, but then feature wise, it's just. Again, the game used to be all 5-on-5 quick game. That's the only way you'd ever play.
you joined it in 2011. You said.
My first title was 2K8. I was
Wow.
at the end of 2K8, so that was Chris Paul was on the cover. The first one I worked on fully, soup to nuts, was Kevin Garnett 2K9.
Damn.
Yeah,
As soon as you got into a position where they were like looking to you to be like, "Yo, what do you think?" Like, did you kind of just jump in and take advantage?
well, no, I mean my biggest thing was to take fan feedback and compile it and figure out how to like prioritize and distribute and try to get it in front of the development team. Now, we get so much real time kind of feedback at all of these events.
Yeah.
Just the brand is so out there that there's a lot of facility for fans to participate in our thing. Now we have the 2K League. You know, we have the esports.
Yeah, I think my boy Jerry Ferrara is like the Knicks.
He's the Knicks
GM or something.
Yep.
Wait, so break that down for me because
a couple years ago, we just finished season 2. A couple years ago, the NBA and 2K partnered on a 50-50 joint venture on this thing called the 2K League. 21 of the NBA teams have an affiliated gaming franchise. So
wow.
The 76ers have 76ers Gaming, and they have 5 spots. They sign 6 gamers. They get the same treatment as NBA players. They have keys to the arena. They have the nutritionalists. They have weight training. They have the same experience as NBA players. 6 months a year, they live in the market. They fly to New York and they play games every single week.
Oh my God.
Over the course of a regular season, there's a few interspersed tournaments over the course of the year, and then there's a playoff and final. 21 teams. But you can't have 5 Kobe's on a team to be successful, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's playing their different roles. There's a lockdown defender. There's a stretch 4. There's rim protectors. There's just however you want to construct a team. But they're signing these guys and placing them in market. And a lot of these guys, what's funny is they've been playing our game forever. They've been playing this mode Pro-Am, which is where this thing runs, for a while, for the years it's been in existence. But they've known these guys online, like they all talk and like they all knew each other. But a lot of them had never met. A lot of them had never left the town that they grew up in.
Right.
So all of a sudden we're sending them to New York last April and drafting them onto different NBA teams and then telling them, hey, you got to move to Indiana to be on this Pacers team even though you lived in LA or whatever.
Shit.
Right? And so they went and did that for 6 months. It's been really cool. Like it's been... No esports organization is tied to a sports organization like that, so it's been really great. So we just crowned our second season champion, the Minnesota Timberwolves just won the championship in season 2 last week, and we're looking forward to season 3.
Wait, so is this the same type of deal like with this kid that just won Fortnite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this the?
Yeah, it was the same week. Yeah, it's professional gaming.
How
and
much?
That whole industry is just.
I mean,
amazing.
that's insane, right?
Yeah. The guy was he 19?
Yeah.
And he won $3 million. 16-year-old won. No, I think it was a 13-year-old won $1 million. He finished 6th or whatever.
Fuck, dude. His parents are so fired up.
Well, I mean, I think parents are like, well, my parents. Well, I wish we had a time machine. I could just take him here.
I
and be
know,
like,
dude.
Hey.
Have they even played the game now?
A lot of money playing the game. No, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because they probably used to yell at you all the time, being like, "Dude, you're killing your brain cells." That was the big thing, right?
Go outside.
Norm, did you play video games? Grab that mic.
I did.
Great. I think.
Good contribution.
Yeah, Norm, you played 2K, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is there something that you are excited about in this next one, or that in your years of playing the game, you've always been? Because I'm curious. We've talked about the people that comment. Like being like, I saw one comment on YouTube that was like, Ronnie, man, the game rules, but if you could just fix the flagrant fouls, the technical fouls, if you can get the gameplay a little quicker out of timeouts and make this, like 9 things, he's like, then it's perfect. And I was like, dude, fucking what? Like, pick one thing. Like, it's already flawless. Like, I think those are the guys that either play it too much.
I mean, the thing is, when something is very, very good, you nitpick. It's just a standard of life, right?
Yeah.
Like when something is that close to perfection, you almost want it. You overcompensate to try to even make it more perfect. I think like every other game, our game has things that we want to continue to improve, and that's what's going to keep the carrot dangling in front of us. But we have to also prioritize. Like I talked about how hard our development team works. Nobody innovates mode-wise and feature-wise and in our gameplay as much as those guys. But we have 12 months-ish to work on a title, and where other games, come out every 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot longer of a development cycle. And it's amazing that we put these features together and make it cool. I mean, I remember that face scan where we, enabled you to put yourself in the game. That was such an amazing...
Did you cry?
I was blown away, man. Like,
yeah, man.
And just the way that those guys pulled that together. And I remember the first time it came out, like, there were some, I don't know if you saw this, like, some of them legitimately looked like Halloween masks. Like, there were a few that were just flawed. Because people had to learn how to do it. You had to have proper lighting and all this stuff. But if you did it wrong, it was it looked like Chucky.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Why don't we look? We're not curing cancer. Let's have some fun with this. So I actually put together a Halloween mask contest where I was like, give us your scariest face game.
Oh, that's brilliant,
and present
dude.
it. And it's just, like at the end of the day, you got to have fun with it too, but you got to. We try our best, and I'm so confident in our team that.
Same group for a while. It's been together, and you add
that's
pieces.
the other thing. There's definitely pieces added. The team has grown, but the core guys have been there for the whole time, and it's just a passion of love. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a year where you guys kind of just not take a step back, but like
Settle.
or a step off the gas. It's like you just are like, man, we were so creative last year. I can't think of anything this year. Let's just mail it in, and they never do.
How much do you think of that is because of the season too, like things that happen in the season? Because you probably make sure that everyone, obviously, that works there is an NBA fan.
You have to be.
You have to be. But just watching the ins and outs and ebbs and flows of the game and following everything, like there's got to be things that can just stir some creativity from that. Yeah,
100%. The NBA obviously is our muse, but I also think that we have ambitions beyond basketball and beyond gaming, and like things like the neighborhood where you're going out there in an open world. Like, who would have thought that there'd be an open world sort of where you're wandering around this town and going into stores and buying your clothes and then going to train and like now it's a world not just about basketball but all of that.
So that neighborhood thing is
we're
almost
only going to continue. I mean that has so many legs because you can continue to grow that year over year and do more fun stuff.
Do you think it'll get to a point to where it's like 2K's like Grand Theft Auto or Red Redemption? What's it called? Red Dead Redemption?
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, and like to where
we're the same parent company, by the way.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah.
so like the Inception, where it's like maybe this opening of the game is like you get to pick two
look,
strangers to fuck. They make you right, and then you have to live that life and go to AAU and try out for the team and get good grades, and you get to just live a whole NBA journey.
At the end of the day, we're a basketball game.
I'm just spitballing here, Ronnie.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, we got to stay within some sort of G-rated.
Yeah,
G-rated
yeah, of course you have to.
confines. We'll let Rockstar do that, and they do it amazingly, obviously.
Yeah, you can't have the game being like all the players like post game in the locker room and having them like now you're making them talk about like what are we doing now? Let's go to the club and like as much as that would probably elevate the game.
Yeah.
But you don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that ever been discussed? Do people ever bring things up in meetings like
It's just like, I mean, obviously a mature version of NBA
Yes.
2K, that'd be amazing, but like
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Norm, did you have a question?
No, I was gonna say when you guys put Blacktop into the game, that like changed it for me because I grew up playing like FIFA Street and I guess it was NBA Street too, and then the second
It's just a different style of game.
Yeah,
You can
it's
also
so modern.
mix and match players from different generations. It's really neat.
Do you feel like your engagement skills that you were doing on the message boards and before you really got a bigger role in the company really helped like now with Instagram and I mean you're pretty good with like interacting with fans and like you were saying like compiling all the fan critique and stuff to help make changes in the game. Do you feel like all that experience that you had really helped?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think there's two things that I really learned from that world. Number one was really kind of filtering constructive criticism and turning it into something that that's actionable. And then the second thing I think is like grassroots marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like what could we do on a kind of community local level that now we can do on a wider level with social media and just have a bigger version of that phenomenon. So that I think that a lot of the social content that even I post on my own channels or the NBA 2K channels are very relevant to what's happening. Like I hate to use this example, but like Hoodie Mello, right? Like Hoodie, if he's playing in the game with a hoodie a couple years ago, we put out a rating that says Hoodie Mello's a 95, right? The other day, J. Cole was, doing that stuff with Chris Brickley, and we put out, just an imaginary rating. We want to spur that conversation because a hoop head, I always want them to think about 2K. Just like what we were talking about earlier, right? Like if free agency is happening, you think about 2K. I want to connect many cultural moments that are related to hoops to our game.
Yeah.
I want your brain to go there. So that's really the purpose of what our marketing team is trying to do on a social media level.
What would you say your top 3 experiences that you've gotten to be a part of because of this world?
I get asked that a lot, and I don't know if I ever get to sit back and process that. I mean,
oh, you got to, man.
Over the course of a year, it was funny. I was looking at the slide of things I did in 2018 because I was working on some project earlier today, and it was wild. I was looking back at that. I was like, wow. I mean, even this year has been such a weird box checking year outside of my 2K stuff, like celebrity game, obviously. Speaking at Harvard, having not gone to Harvard, was awesome. I went back to my high school, mentored some kids, and spoke at my graduation in front of 3,000 high school.
What was that like?
Kids and their parents. Well, it was funny because I had just gone to E3. I'd just gone back from E3. I landed at 1 o'clock, did this speech at 3 o'clock, went to Game 6, and then went to Milan the next morning.
Oh,
it was
man.
Brutal.
But you had to do it all.
Okay, I kind of stumbled through it, but it was fine. But like I've gone on to do a lot of cool things. But what's exciting about it is I'm just living a personification of a very cool brand. Like we get to, if the NBA hadn't had this explosion and this game wasn't so well developed and had its explosion, this wouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
And so I kind of think about that a lot and just try to go with the flow.
Do you get people reaching out to you, telling you that they play that you never thought? Like, has Obama tweeted something out to you, or Adam Silver even? Does he play it? Like, do you know? Or
I don't know if Adam does.
Or does he at least chime in? Like,
no, I mean he's definitely involved
because he knows how important it is to the game. I'm sure.
100%. Yeah. He's been he called the first draft pick at the NBA 2K League.
That's amazing.
He's been on NBA 2K TV.
Yeah.
We have this in-game TV thing that just serves content. So I know Obama's such a big basketball fan. I'm sure he's
played, dude.
I'd love to ask him.
You gotta get that going, dude. When we play in Chicago next year, let's put it out there in the universe. He'll be all over that shit.
You're probably right.
He'll probably, dude. I mean, I
hope he plays.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Are you kidding me?
I pass the ball to
get a presidential assist.
Barack.
Yeah, dude.
I could finally get my assist that I missed out on.
yeah.
The State Farm assist. There you go.
So, last game in Oracle, what was that like being a Warriors fan?
Well, I mean, look, I went to, again, wasn't the biggest Warriors fan growing up, wasn't the biggest fan. I was a huge Kevin Durant fan.
Yeah.
So I'd been a Warriors fan the past few years. But I had been to that arena a million times.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like, I went to watch basketball there. Every time Shaq went and played there, I'd be there. Every time, anybody that I really wanted to see was there, I remember sneaking into games at the end all the time without having a ticket. Like,
did you get to see
so
Don Nelson pre-pothead? You know what I'm saying?
that is true.
You know about that now, right?
I don't think he's ever been
not
pre. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
now he's just leaning into the look. Have you seen him now?
No, I don't. Nelly Kush.
Oh, wait, is that a type of?
Yeah, he sells. It's called Nelly Kush.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they talk about. The only reason I know that, just to be clear, the only reason I know that is because they talk about it on local KNBR, the radio station.
Wow,
up there.
dude. I think at some point they're gonna. The NBA is gonna make it legal. I almost feel like they have to.
Yeah, perhaps.
Well, shit, dude. This is exciting. It's fucking bonkers that you are responsible for the hours that so many dudes have spent. I mean, the amount of good times and good games I've had from playing the game.
Yeah.
It's like I'm never bummed when I finish playing 5 hours of 2K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like truly, I mean, the fact that
time just vanishes though.
It does.
Again,
dude.
those guys, like our team has done a amazing job building this thing. Well, I mean, we want your mind share. We're a source of entertainment, right? Like we are competing against going to a sports game.
Yeah.
We're competing against going to the movies to watch Avengers. Like we're that. We're competing with going to a bar, so we want your mind share, which means we have to put out the most entertaining product that we can.
Even the music, like how are you guys finding the
100%.
soundtracks?
So soundtracks, like this is going to be actually a really cool and innovative year. Like, so for years we've had soundtracks. We've worked with artists. I mean, everybody wants to be on our soundtrack.
Of course.
It's such a platform. But this year we're doing, actually it's running right now, a UGC. You can submit your tracks on United Masters, the app, and you might be picked for the soundtrack. But the reason we were able to do that is because, well, you got you got some beats?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't want to really debut it right here live on the pod. Let me kind of get back in the studio, but
I can't wait to see the submission.
And I feel like you mean that.
So for years, no, totally. Yeah. For years, we've had like the 40, 50 tracks that are on the disc. But by February, March, you're banging your head against the wall because you've heard Phil Collins in the air tonight 7 billion times, right?
Yeah, dude.
So this year we're adding several, a few dozen probably, tracks after the game comes out through, like, a patch, through an update, which has never been done before.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to really keep it fresh, and I think that's something that the fans really love because, like I said, hearing new music. What if somebody has a huge track in December?
Oh yeah,
we could have it in there by February, March, like whatever. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it'll be fresh.
Is it literally as easy for these programmers to just like go into a certain coding thing?
It ain't easy. I'll tell you.
It's not just like drag, copy, paste.
No. It's a lot of coding, and it's a really packed in game because, unlike say a shooter, right? We have lines of commentary, and those commentary has to be triggered at the right time. And commentary audio takes up a lot of space.
It does, huh?
So we're having, I mean, every game has its, like
glitches.
No, not glitches, but every game has its challenge.
Yeah.
Right? And our challenge, that's one of our challenges. Like, we run up against prioritization because we're every year, and we run up against wanting to pack as much in there as possible, including audio. And when you're adding all that audio, there's 450 people in the league, all these names, all these scenarios. It's a lot.
It's never happened.
And that's just one facet of the game.
Yeah.
There's 7 million facets of the game.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
So
I can't even imagine the amount of just like looking on one screen.
It's a lot of work, but like I said, 400 amazing minds that are working on it, and they're doing it out of a real passion for putting out the best product and their love for basketball.
It's crazy that with all that work and all those things to like, organize and sift through, like I've never had a moment where it's like I've hit a 3-pointer and they've been like, great defense, and you're like, wait, what? Like that didn't line up.
We test the heck out of the game, which again is kind of amazing considering it comes out every year. But have to. We want to put out the best thing possible.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, I think about every time game reviews, they've become a little bit less important in the last few years just because consumer reviews are so important.
Yep.
It's really all about how many people are going to the box office in movies. It's the same thing going to the store and picking up their 2K. But it used to be about like reviews as well, media reviews, and it still sort of is. But I talk to our founders of the company around that time every year, and you just see how much those kind of things mean to them. Every little detail, every little thing that's said on the internet, they see it, and it means a lot to them, and it keeps them motivated, which is just remarkable. After Greg Thomas celebrated his 30th year last year of making games, and
wow.
And he got the Icon Award at the Game Awards last year, and but just seeing him still just as passionate as he was 30 years ago, it's remarkable.
And I feel like with like comedy, like you guys are almost like the Chappelle of gaming, where it's like you got your fans, they're diehard, they ain't going anywhere.
Correct.
They just want you to keep being consistent with like a good product.
Totally.
There's not even a competitor, is there? Is there another basketball game that people
There is. The market share has been dominated by us for quite some time.
Yeah, if you get the NBA's backing.
Well, I mean, it's also the fans backing, right? Like, ultimately, but we stay motivated because you never know, and like, so we're just going to continue to.
But you do.
Push the
It's
envelope.
like YouTube isn't sweating right now. You know what I'm saying? YouTube's not like, dude, I fucking.
No, I know. But
What if MeTube comes out?
I've said this a lot the past few days, and the community's had a different interpretation to it. If you're not talked about, if you're not hated and loved, you're not doing something right. The other thing is, if you're not hungry, you're also not doing something right. And our biggest competition is ourselves, our last year's game, but it's also the specter of anytime there's a threat, and
Yeah.
you have to. And again, we're not competing with another basketball franchise. We're competing with all sources of entertainment. Netflix, huge, right? Like,
Yeah, dude.
man, I spend a lot of time on Netflix, so we want to suck away people from watching Netflix.
Whoa, for real?
Of course. Why not?
Yeah, I guess. Fuck, is there a way to
Everything
infiltrate?
is a competitor. No, but look, you have 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of it sleeping, a lot of it working. What are you going to do with those 8 hours? We want it. We want it.
We want it. Wow, dude.
Right? Like, so.
We got next in your life. That's your guys'
That's
motto.
right.
Yeah,
I want you
dude.
to come home, play 2K all day. Maybe one day,
Maybe
there'll be a $3 million prize for.
Dude, yeah. Well, we
being
got
really good at 2K.
the same way there was a celebrity All-Star game. We got to get that celebrity
Tournament. I know.
Also, dude.
We've kicked it around. We did one last year, which was pretty cool.
Oh, thanks for the
at
call.
launch.
But yeah, we'll work on
I didn't
next
know
year.
you back
Yeah,
then.
yeah, good.
Yeah. I mean,
What about?
but how would you fare in one?
Great, dude.
Really?
I'm good, dude. Yeah.
That's what they all say. You think that's the first time I've heard that?
All right. Let me take it a step back.
Please.
I gotta have a LeBron type guy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I try to fuck with like those old Rockets teams. Sometimes I'm like, oh, a center's my guy.
You want to barrel to the basket?
Yeah, I need a guy that can. But I also like a guy that shoots jumpers. You know. But I also end up going old school Sonics a lot because the Rain Man is just like, I want him to get that championship, you know, and feel what it's like to truly win in 2019. Last thing I think that you guys could. I know you're talking about clothing line is maybe even happening, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Hoop It Up, the 3-on-3 tournament? Do you remember? It was like.
Yeah.
It happened in Seattle a lot when I was growing up, but I know it was
No, they did a
across
few
the nation.
regional ones, yeah.
But I feel like that could be next, right?
Like street ball, like
yeah,
us
dude.
bringing street ball back.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, we have the facility in the game. You know, the neighborhood is full of 3-on-3 parks. It's doable. I mean, I feel like we have thought a lot about social media and experiential marketing recently, where that could be an opportunity going forward.
Yeah.
We got away from it a little bit, doing community-based things because we were trying to build like this global brand. I think we may have overcompensated, so maybe in the coming years we start thinking about how to vest back into communities. We've done it a little bit. Obviously, we've built 10 courts across the country now.
No way.
We just built one in Oakland. I was on CBS this morning talking about it.
Nice.
We have a very, 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 very big one we're announcing this week. When is this happening, by the way?
Monday.
Tomorrow.
No, I'm sorry. Thursday.
You're dropping this Thursday?
Yeah.
You promise?
Yep.
So on Wednesday, so we'll pretend this is yesterday.
Yes, dude.
So yesterday, we recorded this on Sunday. We're doing this this is dropping on Thursday.
Yeah, movie magic.
Yesterday, we the I Promise School did not have a basketball court, but it does now. 2K has brought a basketball court to the I Promise School. Isn't that amazing? I was so stunned when I saw that. And,
Holy shit, dude!
So we're there's a 2K Foundations court. That's why I'm going to New York tomorrow, meaning Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Cleveland on Tuesday night for the court opening on Wednesday.
No way. Braun will for sure be there.
Braun will be there.
Wait, so the court's been? You're going for the snap in the ribbon?
Yeah, it's ready. It'll be unveiled on Wednesday.
I bet it's unreal,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm sure. We've done a really cool artistic. We work with some great artists across the country to build them. But we're also. It's not just like stamp it and leave it and build it and they will come. It's more It's more like giving back to the community. Like we've been back to many of those locations, continuing to support those.
Yeah.
I've done a couple events. The one in LA, the Salvation Army, which
that
area is really rough, and. But we've been back there a few times to do stuff. I did something with Nate Robinson maybe a couple months ago.
Not doubt.
So it's about bringing basketball, this game that has made us so big.
Yeah.
Bringing it to these communities, giving back to the game that built us, right? But also being there, reinforcing that, supporting these communities to continue to give them what they need to make these courts. Things that people play on. So I think we're starting to head back in that direction. We got so tunnel focused on
Yeah.
building this into a massive brand, but now you know, we have other thoughts like that as well.
You're doing it, man. Well, congrats. That's
Thank
big
you.
time. That's like a bit. I mean, that's yeah.
I gotta ask because you know you hear about how Game of Thrones they give like the extra episodes to people first, and I know a lot of people are probably in your ear about getting the game first.
Oh my god,
Who gets
dude? I've
2K
got
first?
to hit up about advanced copies
Yeah.
a month and a half ago, and I'm like, dude, the game comes out September 6th. You're asking me in June? Like, where
not
do
even
you think
done
I
yet.
have this copy?
Yeah.
We haven't even started printing the games yet, so I do not have any copies. For
Dang.
Now,
Are you around for that? Is it like a big day?
No, I mean it doesn't happen. It happens in a manufacturing plant,
Yeah.
so I don't. It'll get there.
Who gets the first copy? Is there like a player?
I mean,
like
it usually lands in our office first, and
Wow.
then we usually. I'm talking like a day or two before. Does not happen. It does not happen before that.
because I'm sure players too are like, yo, man, where's that advanced copy?
Oh my god, yeah, yes. I've been asked at least 100 times already.
Dang,
and
dude.
We're still almost a month away. So
Is there somebody that you look forward to playing with? Because I know you've gotten to play with a lot of players.
I mean, there's some players that are really good on the boardroom the other day. Even though I'd said this a million times, they got a lot of pickup. I said that Paul George is the best NBA player at 2K, but there's a lot of celebrities that are amazing. There's a lot of people that just play our game. I really look forward to playing with the kids I grew up with. I mean, just like anybody else.
Yeah,
right?
man.
I mean, it's cool to play with celebs and athletes and all that stuff, but I really use that as a facility to learn from them, especially the NBA players, like what's important to them and just how they think about basketball and how it translates to the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I play with them. And I also want to know how long they've played and how it's kind of developed over the years in their head. So
Speaking of
that's it.
content, there's a great I feel like there's a great opportunity to, it's such a great backdrop for some sort of, Ahmad Rashad inside stuff type shit where if you want to do some personal piece on a player or even just a whole show that's just, it's talk show format with players getting to know them, but you're playing 2K because I feel like that the game is so great.
I've started to do that a little bit myself, actually.
Oh, good.
Started to have. I have a stream on Caffeine and Twitch.
I saw you do it with Quavo, right?
I did one with Quavo.
Yeah.
I've done a ton actually over the years. Yeah, Quavo.
Oh, nice.
Quavo, but they're starting to see us as a platform to release music. I'm glad you brought that up. Quavo hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I got my solo album coming. This is the weekend it's coming out. Can we do something that weekend?" I'm like, "Don't you have press tours? Don't you have a million things to do?" But then I thought about it and I'm like, I get it. I see why he would want to do this. He sees 2K as a platform to get to his audience.
Yeah.
So a live stream for an hour or two playing 2K in an innovative way is actually probably more valuable than any press tour you
Fuck
could do.
yeah.
That's
why podcasts are even
innovative.
more so, bigger than even like a late night appearance.
I really think the next step in 2K, thinking future facing, is, and it's going to happen definitely this year as well, is becoming more of a platform for creatives, just generally. I know everybody, that's like kind of a frou-frou thing to say that everybody says, but I really believe that. I think that fashion designers are going to think of like, how do I get my clothes on 2Ks to release it? Music, obviously, we already talked about. I think people are going to be like, we need to advertise our stuff leveraging 2K however we can.
Maybe there's a thing for comedy too, where they can all you earn a certain amount of wins and you get free tickets to a comedy show, and you can click and you go, you watch some animated shit of a 5-minute set at a comedy club.
Yeah, I definitely think that people are, the physical and digital world, being incentivized in the digital world to get something physical. I think that's a massive platform and a massive opportunity for us.
Yeah. You're the man. Thanks for making time.
Of course.
Really pumped for you, and I feel like this is going to be the biggest one yet.
Yep.
And
Just
if you are
a couple weeks away.
Yeah, dude. If you are looking for some notes right out of the gate, I've got a couple.
Send me your feedback.
A couple of things that I think I can already assume are not in the game, but me singing the national anthem at every
That's what
game.
you wanna
I want
do?
that to be an option. I want to do that in real life. I think we could start with 2K, see
right.
how the response is.
We'll look at that.
Okay. Again, I believe you. I think there was a lot of sincerity with that.
Fair enough.
That's not an option, right?
I'm not today. No. I could confirm that 2K20 does not have
Adam Ray singing.
Adam Ray singing the national anthem.
All right,
and
well.
everybody's happier.
Yeah.
For that.
Ronnie 2K on Instagram and Twitter, right?
Yes, sir. Game comes out September 6th.
Yeah, so don't hit them up, okay? You know when the game's coming out. When it comes out, September 6th, go get it. Lines are probably around the block at most stores, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
midnight launch is quite a phenomenon for us. So yeah, pre-order. You want to get it early? Make sure.
Fuck yeah. You're the man.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Ronnie.
for having me.
It's about last night.